Welcome. Today we will discuss some aspects of vector control. First, we will discuss frequency signal omega E estimation. So frequency signal omega E estimation is required in synchronous current control. Also, it is required in some schemes of vector control. So, as you know that the vector orientation diagram, say alpha axis, beta axis, and this is the stator flux psi s. This is psi alpha s along the alpha axis, and this is psi beta s along the beta axis, and psi s, this is the d axis which is rotating at speed omega e, and this angle is theta e. So, from this vector diagram you can see cos theta e is psi alpha s by psi s hat, and sin theta e is psi beta s by psi s hat. So, now from these two equations you can get tan theta e is psi beta s divided by psi alpha s. Now, deriving the last expression with respect to time, we have sec square theta e d theta e by dt equals to psi alpha s into psi beta s dot minus psi beta s into psi alpha s dot divided by psi alpha s square. So, you get d theta e by dt equals to psi alpha s into psi beta s dot minus psi beta s into psi alpha s dot divided by psi s square. So, multiplying cos square theta e in the both sides. So, this implies omega e, which is d theta e by dt, that is psi alpha s into psi beta s dot. Psi beta s dot is v beta s minus r s I beta s minus psi beta s into psi alpha s dot. Psi alpha s dot is v alpha s minus r s I alpha s divided by psi s square. So, this is the equation for omega e estimation. Here we can use voltage sensors to get V voltage sensors and current sensors, from which we get V alpha s and V beta s, I alpha s and I beta s, then estimate psi alpha s, psi and psi beta s and omega e. So, frequency omega e can also be derived as a function of the rotor flux components using the same principle as we have discussed. Next we will discuss transfer function. Transfer function block diagram. Of vector control. So, electromagnetic torque T E is 3 by 2 into pole pairs, that is P by 2 into L m by L r into psi r hat into I q s. At vector control, this is the torque expression, and the torque balance equation is T E electromagnetic torque minus load torque equals to 2 by P into J into d omega r by dt. Further, from the flux balance equation, we have L r by r r into d psi r by dt plus psi r hat equal to L m into I d s. This equation we have derived for indirect vector control. Using these three equations, we can obtain the transfer function block diagram. So, let us start with I d s. So, input current is I d s, which is multiplied with L m to give steady state flux psi d s, and during the transient it is L r by r r into s plus 1 during the transient period, from which we get psi r hat. And from I q s input, we have 3 by 2 into pole pairs into L m by L r So, this is multiplied with psi r, and output is the electromagnetic torque T E. So, T E minus T L is the accelerating torque. So, multiplied with P by 2 j into 1 by s is the speed, rotor speed omega r. So, this is the transfer function block diagram, and transfer function can be obtained from this for the vector control. As you can see, the electromagnetic torque instantly responds to I q s. T E is direct in response instantaneously to I q s, because there is no s involved, no parameter, no s is involved. However, the rotor flux psi r depends upon the current with a time constant. It is a first order delay with time constant L r by L r r. So, rotor flux does not respond instantly to the current, it responds with a first order delay given by time constant L r by r r. So, this vector control block diagram is applicable to indirect vector control as well as direct vector control. Next we will discuss vector control principle from DQ equivalent circuit. So, first we will draw the D axis equivalent circuit. Stator resistance Rs, then the rotational EMF which is omega E into psi Qs additive to the voltage Vds, and stator leakage inductance, magnetizing inductance. This is the stator side and this voltage is Vds applied to stator, and in the rotor branch we have rotor leakage inductance LLR, then the rotational EMF omega SL into psi QR, and the rotor resistance RR, rotor branch. Since at vector control psi QR equals to 0, so in the D axis rotor branch EMF, that is omega SL psi QR is 0. So, this is the flux psi dr which is also psi r hat between these 2 points, and this is the current IDS. And let us for the q axis rotor circuit, for the q axis equivalent circuit we have the resistance Rs, then rotational EMF omega E psi ds which is opposing to the applied voltage VQS because it is back EMF, then stator leakage inductance LLS and mutual inductance LM. The applied voltage is VQS and current flowing in this branch is IQS. And then in the rotor branch we have the leakage inductance LLR, and the rotational EMF that is omega SL into psi dr, and the rotor resistance is RR. Here we have a block Lm by Lr into Rr which takes the current IQS input and it decides this EMF, that is Lm by Lr Rr into IQS. So, psi QR is between these 2 points, so this is 0 for vector control. So, as you can see in the D axis rotor branch, because EMF omega SL psi QR is 0 at steady state condition, because inductances at steady state have no EMF across it. So, omega SL psi QR equal to 0. So, there is no current in the D axis rotor branch. So, IDS flows through the mutual inductance LM in totality, and also in the Q axis circuit the torque is controlled by IQS, and the EMF omega SL in the rotor branch, in the Q axis rotor branch, the EMF which is omega SL into psi dr, using the omega slip relationship, omega SL relationship, it is Lm RR into IQS divided by LR. Since for indirect vector control, omega SL is RR Lm by LR into IQS by psi dr. This is what for indirect vector control. So, omega SL psi dr is given by this expression. So, because that is what it is shown, because psi QR is 0, this EMF omega SL psi dr omega is Lm RR into IQS by LR, this is the EMF. So, current in the rotor branch, current in the Q axis rotor branch at steady state. At steady state means inductances have no voltage across them. LR, LL leakage inductance, mutual inductance have no voltage across them. So, current in the Q axis rotor branch is so omega SL psi dr by RR. So, it is Lm by LR into IQS. So, that you can show here. This branch is, this current is Lm by LR IQS. Now, you to verify that this current which we have just obtained in the Q axis rotor branch, that is Lm by LR and IQS, this verifies that psi QR equal to 0. Psi QR should be 0, psi QR has to be 0. How it verifies? So, you can do the calculation. So, psi QR equals to mutual flux plus rotor leakage flux, and mutual flux is Lm into current in that branch. Mutual flux is in the Lm into current in the branch. Current in the branch is the rotor branch current Lm by LR IQS minus IQS. We have taken bottom side as the, we are starting from the bottom side, and current is entering is the first term, and from the top side current is IQS. So, in opposite direction. So, this is the flux linkage, plus with the same polarity, flux in the rotor leakage inductance is the current, this is the current in the rotor leakage inductance into rotor leakage inductance is LLR. So, polarity is taken into consideration. So, you have this expression. So, now taking IQS as common, we have Lm square by LR minus Lm plus Lm into LLR by LR, and you can calculate this bracketed term is 0. So, psi QR is 0. So, point is we have done the exact calculation. So, let us, if leakage inductance is neglected, if leakage inductance is neglected, the flux psi r is constant. Which is given by current I ds flowing in the magnetizing branch. Current I ds flows only in the magnetizing branch, which has the inductance L m, and in that case current IQS flows only in the rotor branch, which has a resistance R R. So, this is the original hypothesis of vector control, where due to when the leakage inductance is neglected, leakage inductance is absent. So, current IQS torque component of the current flows only through the rotor resistance R R, and magnetizing current flows only through the magnetizing branch L M. So, during the transient LLR has the contribution to the transient period. So, for transient period, so this vector control, how to get vector control, that should be taken care, otherwise at steady state vector control is obtained if rotor resistance is properly known. Next we will discuss indirect vector control. Slip gain tuning. So, for indirect vector control, slip speed omega SL is given by RR LM by LR into psi r hat whole into IQS, that is KS times IQS, where Ks, which is given by RR into LM by LR into psi r hat, is the slip gain. So, it is desirable that the parameters that RR, LM, LR used in the slip gain calculation Ks match the actual parameters of the machine at all operating conditions to achieve decoupling control of the machine. If RR, LM, LR deviate used in the vector control, deviate from the actual parameters in the machine during operating condition, vector control will not be obtained. This is called the detuning of parameters. Parameters are detuned. So, parameter detuning problem is a serious disadvantage of indirect vector control. This problem is similar to direct vector control at low speeds. So, proper care has to be taken for parameter detuning to overcome the issue of parameter detuning in the vector control scheme. Further, you can see at steady state, which is more easier, simpler case, at steady state psi r equals to L m into I d s. So, slip gain K s is now R r by L r into I d s. No, divided by I d s, sorry. R r by, so that omega S L is R r by L r I q s by I d s. So, at steady state condition, even rotor time constant or predominantly rotor resistance also affects the vector control. If actual rotor resistance during operating condition is different from the resistance used in the slip gain formula nominal parameter, then also vector control will not be obtained at steady state. So, rotor resistance detuning problem is most severe, which require attention for deep coupling control even at steady state, that is important. So, how the rotor resistance changes when the machine operates with load for a certain time, then because of losses temperature rise, and due to that rotor resistance increases, and so it deviates from the parameter used in the vector control. But as the temperature variation of rotor resistance is somewhat slow, this permits adequate computation time required for parameter determination. So, for parameter to overcome the parameter detuning, continuous online detuning is required. Continuous online tuning of parameters demand rigorous computation. So, for that a DSP digital signal processor is used for rigorous computation required for continuous online tuning of parameters. So, as rotor resistance variation is low, the time required for computation by the DSP is permissible. So, a DSP can be used for online parameter tuning, and there are some other alternatives like the extended Kalman filter. Is used for parameter and or state estimation. Based on full order dynamic model. So, this is an elegant and powerful method which is used very often. So, another is based on model reference adaptive control. Which MRAC. So, this is also widely used. So, now we will discuss this MRAC based parameter tuning for vector control. So, we have for the vector control drive, we have the commands IQA star and IDS star. So, this MRAC uses a reference model which takes these command inputs as its input. ID star and IQ star are the inputs, and it computes a reference output x star. X is the output and reference value, and actual output x is subtracted from x star. So, the error goes through a controller, let us say PI controller can be used, which is simple, and this determines the tunes the parameter Ks, the sleep gain. So, Ks into IQ star multiplied. So, that is the sleep speed omega SL. So, ID star and IQ star are input to the vector control drive, that means inverter plus vector control, which has also the input DC voltage Vd and feeds the motor the required supply. Okay. So, we have an adaptive model also, which takes the currents and the voltages as the actual currents and voltages are input. So, it takes the currents I alpha s, I beta s, the voltages V alpha s and V beta s as the inputs. So, based on the using the adaptive model and these inputs, it estimates the output x, and which is subtracted from the reference x star and processed through a controller, and to generate multiplied with IQS generates the omega SL, which is the input to the vector control drive. So, this is the scheme of parameter tuning using MRAC principle. So, in the reference model, the parameters IDS, the reference model, it uses the ID star, IQ star and the machine parameters and frequency as for estimation of reference output x star, and adaptive model output x, it is estimated from machine feedback voltages and currents IDS, I alpha s, I beta s and V alpha s, V beta s. The reference model output and adaptive model output are compared, and the resulting error generates the estimated sleep gain Ks through a controller. The sleep gain tuning occurs when x matches with x star. Because PI controller, it ensures the error 0, 0 error, 0 steady state error. So, ultimately k and x and x star will be identical. Let us consider take an example. In the torque, let us consider the torque output model. In the torque output model, it requires x is the output is the electromagnetic torque T E. The Ks parameters are tuned so that T E equals to T E star. The reference model output for ideal vector control is given by x star, which is the reference torque T E star, that is 3/2 into pole pairs into Lm by Lr into psi r hat star into IQS star, and psi r hat star equal to Lm into IDS star. So, that is T E star is 3/2 into pole pairs into Lm square by Lr into IDS star into IQS star. The actual torque in the developed by the motor during the operating condition, that is estimated using the adaptive model, which is given by 3/2 P by pole pairs, because voltages and currents are taken as the input, flux is estimated. So, it is psi alpha s into I beta s minus psi beta s into I alpha s. This is the exact torque during the operating condition, and this T E is matched with T E star by the closed loop control and parameter tuning. And in this control, let us discuss the issues involved. So, there are certain challenges. So, the Lm and Lr variation affect estimation accuracy of reference output x star. Another issue, at low speeds estimation accuracy of x is affected by stator resistance R s, because when the at low speeds voltage is also small. So, R s is input R s and its drop, resistance drop, stator resistance drop is predominant part of the applied voltage. So, estimation accuracy of x is affected. So, adaptive model has some problem, estimation challenge at the low speeds, and also when the parameters Lm and Lr vary, this affects the accuracy of x star. So, these are the challenges, and closed loop control should be designed to considering these issues, so that x and x star are matched and parameter tuning is occurred. Thank you for attention.